Darius Campbell Danesh was a singer-songwriter alum of two British reality talent competitions, Popstars and Pop Idol, which aired on the ITV network in 2001 and 2002, respectively. He became one of the biggest stars to come out of the shows and had a #1 hit single, Colourblind. He released two successful albums and was later involved in producing films and performing in musical plays such as Chicago, Guys and Dolls, Funny Girl, and Gone with the Wind. His fans were devastated when it was reported that he'd passed away in August 2022. Darius Campbell Danesh was born on the 19th of August 1980 in Glasgow, Scotland, to an Iranian father, Booth Danesh, and a Scottish mother, Avril Campbell. He and his younger brothers, Cyrus and Aria, were raised in a comfortable home in the East Dunbartonshire town of Beardsden. Both of his parents were medical doctors. His mother was a general practitioner, while his father was a gastroenterologist. He went to Beardsden Primary School and then to Glasgow Academy. His parents wanted him to pursue a career in medicine and be a doctor like them, or a lawyer. But Darius's interests leaned on the arts and entertainment, which were founded early in his life. When he was 12 years old, he participated in the Scottish opera, The Trojans, with a non-singing role as a Trojan boy. He then joined the theater company on their tour and had the chance to perform at the Royal Opera House in Covent Garden, London. His theater experience made him fall in love with the stage, and he longed to study acting at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art, RADA. However, he followed his parents' advice and attended the University of Edinburgh, where he studied English literature and philosophy. Darius's life changed when he left the university to participate in a couple of British reality TV talent competitions. In 2001, ITV acquired the rights to produce the British version of Popstars, a TV show that originated in New Zealand. They were looking for new singers to make up a modern pop group. It was presented as a documentary similar to the X Factor talent show, complete with panel judges, but without the public votes. He gained a bit of fame when he performed Britney Spears' signature song, Baby One More Time, in falsetto. However, halfway through the series, he was booted out of the show. In one of his interviews, he said, "I was too cocky on Popstars, but it taught me too much." He didn't blame the judges for not liking him, because he confessed that he wouldn't have chosen himself either if he was one of them. A year later, Darius participated in another talent show called Pop Idol, and this time he had a bit of success. After being ridiculed for his ill-advised performance and his arrogance in the previous reality TV show, he prepared something different for this series. He became competitive and showed what he was made of, ending up as one of the finalists, but losing to Gareth Gates, who came in second, and Will Young, who won first place. Darius was offered a multi-million-pound sterling recording contract by Simon Cowell, a successful record company executive, but refused because he wanted to record and produce his own composition. Simon wanted to sing a cover of the Tom Jones hit, It's Not Unusual. He didn't have any problem with the song or with Simon, as he had a great deal of respect for him, but wanted to do more than that. The 21-year-old Darius signed up with Mercury Records and was given the chance to record and produce his own penned songs. His debut single, Colourblind, was released on the 29th of July 2002, and it affirmed that he'd made the right career decision, as the song topped the UK singles chart for a couple of weeks and made it to the 13th spot on the Irish singles chart. The song was certified silver back then and became gold in 2020. Darius met with Simon Cowell again years after his song became a hit, and the executive producer was still disgruntled that his offer had been turned down. Nonetheless, he praised the singer for forging his path by doing what he seemed was right for him at the time. But he also told him, "We still would have sold more records if we'd done it my way." His debut single was taken from his album Dive In, which was given a platinum certification in 2004 and peaked at #6 on the UK albums chart. It consisted of 12 self-composed songs and collaborations with many known producers such as Denny Lou and Pete Glenister of the Misfits. He said he was lucky back then. His executive producer for the album was Grammy Award-winning Steve Lillywhite, who had been credited for working with great artists such as U2, the Rolling Stones, Simple Minds, and the Dave Matthews Band. Darius's second and final album was Live Twice, released in October 2004, and dedicated to his father, as Dr. Danesh was battling cancer at the time. It wasn't as successful as his debut album, and it didn't even reach the top 20 on the UK album chart. However, the songs Kinda Love and Live Twice from the album peaked at number 8 and number 7 respectively. All in all, he had 5 songs that reached the top 10 on the UK singles chart. Darius wanted to share his journey with his fans and wrote the book entitled Sink and Swim, sharing his experience on what it was like in reality TV competitions and advising those who wanted to enter the world of entertainment. He also told personal stories about himself and his family. The book made it to the Sunday Times bestseller list. After he fulfilled his dreams of successfully recording songs, Darius went back to participating in musical theater plays. His first major role in an opera was in Carmen, in which he played the role of the toreador named Escamillo. The transition from pop idol to stage plays was a great decision, as he flourished in this arena too. From 2005 to 2006, Darius, at age 25, portrayed the role of Billy Flynn in the West End version of Chicago. He was the youngest actor to be given this opportunity and proved all the naysayers wrong when they said he wouldn't be able to pull it off. The former pop idol had 2 runs with the production. While Darius knew that he was equipped with the right skills for the theater, he was a bit hesitant to dive into just any role available. There was a time he wasn't so keen on playing the main lead character for Michael Grandage's award-winning production of Guys and Dolls. But after he watched Ewan McGregor play Sky Masterson, he drew inspiration from it and went on to add the character into his acting resume in 2007. By the following year, he was seen doing Gone with the Wind, playing the charming philanderer Rhett Butler, directed by Sir Trevor Nunn. British reality TV shows continued popping up by the dozen, and in 2010, Darius opted to join another one entitled Popstar to Opera Star. It would be his 3rd time in participating in this type of reality show, and people wondered why. He said that he found its premise to be quite interesting and challenging. He was joined by 7 celebrity pop stars, including Jimmy Osmond, Danny Jones, Bernie Nolan, and Vanessa White, who all went through rigorous training under the tutelage of renowned opera stars to become semi-skilled opera singers. His performances were loved not only by the judges, but by the voting public as well, as he sang Nessun Dorma, Granada, Non Più Andrea, and Toreador to the delight of opera fans. He even performed a duet with one of his mentors, Rolando Villazon, with the song Impossible Dream. The contestants were all skilled and determined to win, but Darius was declared its first season's champion. Darius continued honing his skills by collaborating with other artists and exploring different music genres, but he would always go back to musical theater. In July 2003, a West End adaptation of the popular James Jones novel entitled From Here to Eternity was announced, and the producers chose Darius for its main lead, First Sergeant Milt Warden. It played at the Shaftesbury Theatre and ran from September 2013 to April 2014. After a year, he was involved with the West End revival of the musical Funny Girl, playing the role of Nick Arnstein, a businessman and gambler who was in a relationship with Fanny Bryce, played by Sheridan Smith. The show premiered in November 2015 at the Many-Year Chocolate Factory and had a limited run, ending in March 2016, but was the fastest-selling show in Many-Year's history. Darius was also part of the UK tour, which started in February 2017. After Darius was thrown into the limelight through his participation in Popstars, he lost his privacy, as fans became naturally curious about his personal life. Here are some of his romances, from flings to serious relationships. The Colourblind singer had his first public relationship with Jackie Ainsley, who was the model hired as his co-star in his music video in 2002. It was love at first sight. The relationship didn't last longer than they would have wanted, but they remained friends after the breakup. Darius said that there wasn't any third party involved and that they were just too young when they met. He also admitted that there were so many things going on in his life at that time that he couldn't prioritize his personal life. The Die Another Day Bond girl went on to marry movie director Guy Ritchie, who was Madonna's ex-husband. Darius dated Canadian actress and model Natasha Tonya Henstridge for 7 years before he married her in 2011. They met when she moved from Scotland to the US. He became stepfather to his wife's sons from her previous relationship with Damien Chapa, but it didn't take long before they realized that they were better off as friends rather than spouses. Some people called it a turbulent relationship, as the couple had many breakups, but kept reconciling until they reached their limit. They filed for divorce in 2013, and it was eventually granted in 2018. Darius admitted that he went into a period of grieving, as he had a difficult time adjusting to having no contact with his former wife and his stepsons whom he adored. He shared, "You see, you don't break up with one person, you break up with three. In some ways, it felt like a death." After the failure of his marriage, he started dating again in 2016, saying, "There was a shift that happened a few months ago where we thought we'd go from friends to dating." He was referring to Daisy Lowe, who was the daughter of Gavin Rossdale, the lead singer and guitarist of the band Bush. They thought they'd found love in each other's arms and had a great time together, but both agreed that they should just be friends. The entertainment industry was shocked when it was reported that Darius died on the 11th of August 2022 in his Rochester home in Minnesota. The local authorities shared that the Scottish singer-songwriter was found unresponsive in his bedroom. There was no previous reports that he was undergoing any health problems. There was no official cause of death reported. When the Rochester police were asked if there were any suspicious circumstances surrounding Darius's death, they wouldn't elaborate and just said that it was still under investigation. Many people, most especially his fans, were curious about the reason behind it. The Danesh family released a statement later on that said, "The local police department have confirmed that there were no signs of intent or suspicious circumstances." They also shared that the cause of his sudden death were still unknown at the time and that his body was still undergoing forensic medical examinations. When the news of Darius's death spread, some of his fans remembered the time he shared in a magazine interview that he had two near-death experiences. The first was in 2010 when he was involved in a vehicular accident and ended up with a fractured neck. He was with his friends in a Porsche going around in Spain when the car swerved and skidded on an oil spill and slammed into a wall at 70 miles per hour. His second was in 2015 when he accidentally drank water from the River Thames while filming a promotional video for Fresh 20 water filter and ended up with meningitis or cerebral edema, which placed him in a coma. He said that his father saved him immediately by transporting him to the nearest hospital, where the doctors accurately diagnosed him and gave him the appropriate treatment. His immunity was reduced due to what happened, and his white blood cell count decreased for several months. When there were no official announcements of the cause of Darius's sudden passing, naturally, people started to speculate. Initially, some feared that it was due to foul play, but there was no murder investigation of any sort. Other fans thought that his health could have suffered due to his low immunity issues. Some said that it could be related to the fact that both of his parents battled cancer and that his body was also weak. His mother had breast cancer in 2015, while his father had stage 4 lymphoma, but both of them recovered following radio and chemotherapy. A few weeks before his untimely death, there was talk that Darius would be seen again on stage with his former Pop Idol finalists Gareth Gates and Will Young. Apparently, there were plans to create a reunion special with the three of them to be hosted by the popular TV presenter duo Ant and Dec, and scheduled to be filmed at the Criterion Theatre in London. His fans were devastated that they wouldn't see him in it. In one of his interviews, when the self-confessed theater geek was asked if he was more of a musical theater performer or a recording artist, he replied, "I am a recording artist and a performer and a producer." Darius elaborated that he could be in any environment as long as the viewing public was willing to accept him. It didn't matter if it was singing his pop songs or doing theater or opera. He would always see himself as a professional storyteller. Thank you for spending some time with us. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another video. We also handpicked these videos which we recommend you watch next. You can talk to us on all social medias or ask a question in the comments below. Thank you for being with us, and we'll see you back tomorrow.